the moment too.
Just gotta slow down for you. You don't have to win the tournament in 15 hands, though.
Right.
I mean, I understand being frustrated, but I mean, it just, you know, it's one of those things. I always tell myself when I sit down at a poker tournament, I don't play many poker tournaments, but same thing in cash. You don't have to, like, I don't have to make my entire day's nut, so to speak. I don't have to make all the money in the first 9 minutes of my play. I don't have to win the tournament in the first hour. You can't win the tournament in the first hour. And Spindler raises again. This is 6 out of 7 hands now. He has either raised, he's opened, he's either 3-bet or he's 4-bet. He has voluntarily entered 6 out of 7 hands, though. A lot of people are familiar with you from the World Series of Poker main event, the coverage on ESPN. You finished in 31st.
Yes.
You were the last woman standing. You made a great run, and a lot of people were cheering for you when it was all said and done. The November 9 is right around the corner. November 4th and 5th will be airing on ESPN, so make sure you watch that.
Yes.
Very exciting. How many of those final 9 have you played with, and who are some of your favorites going into that November 9?
JC is definitely...
JC Tran?
Yeah, just I've played with him a bit this year in a couple of events, actually, and he's just such a gracious, humble guy, and I don't know, like, I'm just a really big fan of his. And he's a family man, been playing poker for a long time. I would love to see him get there.
More on JC Tran in a second. Spindler bets 25,000. The 38-year-old amateur, Hugh J, has checked. Now, he defended from the big blind, and I'm not going to begin to guess what kind of hand that he would defend with. I just don't know, but it doesn't look like he wants to give this one up, though.
No.
Earlier on, he defended with ace-6. You know, I mean, the fact that he's thinking about it, you'd imagine that he's got a piece of this. It's a very dry board.
Yes. I mean, like you said too, I don't know how he got here. I didn't really see a lot of reporting on a lot of his hands either, so...
His hand's shaking a little bit, and I always feel, to me, hand shaking means you've got a hand that you're going to go with. It's a little bit of a live tell, and he raises. And I think it's one of those, like, sometimes that shaking hand is, it's just an involuntary motion, and I caution people to rely on that because it can be other things. But when an amateur is shaking, I feel like more often than not, it is a hand.
Yeah, it's not because he's had too much caffeine or anything.
He knows it's almost like my tournament could be on the line right now.
Right.
The deuce of clubs.
You wouldn't imagine the deuce of clubs changes much.
I mean, it could be you're either nervous about your hand or excited about your hand either. It could be either way.
Right. These are the 2 short stacks. Spindler has Hugh covered. Hugh with 564 at the start of the hand. And if you see the chip counts at the top of your screen, those are their starting stacks at the beginning of the hand. Hugh now with about probably closer to 480,000. And he's going to check raise and then check. What's that indicative of?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure about how much experience he actually has even had before this satellite. So
sometimes playing against inexperienced players can be the toughest thing because it's really hard to know what their thought process is.
For sure.
Spindler bets 25,000.
Spindler bets 25,000 into 208,000. Hugh check raised, he min check raised, and then check calls. Bizarre hand. Pot is now 258,000.
I don't know. Maybe he's sitting there with something like ace-jack or something. He's just now worried about his hand.
Right, he check raised at like ace-7 to find out where he was at. Then he got called and got nervous.
Something like that's what I would be thinking. Like, I think he's got the ace in his hand, but now that his check raise was called, he's feeling a little bit more uncomfortable about it.
If you're Spindler and you know your opponent's got, say, ace-7 or something like that.
See, but I was thinking maybe something like ace-jack, but now the queen's come out, and maybe he seems more comfortable with it now.
If he bets here, I think he's got a pretty strong hand. We'll see how this one plays out. Just a question, if you're Spindler, do you think you can get away with a bluff? Can you get your opponent to fold a weak ace with Spindler's image?
I mean,
6-7, right?
That certainly looks like a blocker bet to me.
45,000.
Jerome bets 45,000.
I just really want to see their hands now.
You will see the hand at the end, by the way. If you're just joining the broadcast, we hide the hands until the end, and that's when we do the reveal, so you can play along at home.
C2 raises.
This is what, and there, Spindler raises. This is one of those spots where you know your opponent's doing a blocker bet. The problem is, I just don't know if Huget will fold.
6-7.
Jerome folds.
And he does, and Huget's got jacks and Spindler at 2 pair.
I don't think you're showing your shot.
King, queen of hearts. He's not in the mood.
I'm blown away that Huget did not 3-bet pre-flop.
Like,
As active as Spindler is, how do you not 3-bet?
Yeah, he's played like nearly every single hand. You wake up with jacks. I'm like beside myself with enjoyment at that point.
That'll be cool.
Thinking, especially Spindler has been looking a little bit frustrated. I'm thinking if I'm going to raise there that I could, I mean,
I do.
get him to spew off a few more chips would be great. But